Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet Roger Miller.
It's been a good year for paint thinner, hasn't it?
Man who means band remains king of the road.
Roger Miller, the country music legend, carved out a remarkable career that spanned over 3 decades, becoming one of the most influential musicians of his generation. Known for his unique blend of country and humor, he dominated the 1960s with hits like King of the Road and Dang Me, securing his spot as a leading star of the era. But despite his success, Roger's life was far from carefree. He faced numerous challenges and passed away just as his legacy was being rediscovered by a new generation. Now, after years of speculation, his children have finally opened up about what we've long suspected about their father. Want to know the full story? Let's explore it. Early life and influences. Roger Dean Miller was born on January 2, 1936, in Fort Worth, Texas, to Jean and Laudine Miller. Unfortunately, his father passed away from spinal meningitis when Roger was just 1 year old, leaving his mother to care for Roger and his 2 older brothers, Dwayne and Wendell. The financial strain of raising 3 children alone during the Great Depression was immense, and Laudine was forced to make the difficult decision to send her sons to live with relatives. Roger was sent to Eric, Oklahoma, to live with his aunt and uncle, Elmer and Armelia Miller, on their farm. Eric, Oklahoma, was a small rural town where life revolved around agriculture and community. For young Roger, life on the farm was both a challenge and a source of inspiration. He worked hard, helping with the daily chores that were part and parcel of farm life. The rhythms of rural living, the open spaces, and the simple pleasures of small-town life would later become recurring themes in his music. Despite the hardships, Roger's upbringing in Eric was not devoid of joy. Music played a significant role in the Miller household. His family was musically inclined, with his uncles often playing instruments like the fiddle and guitar during gatherings. This early exposure to music, particularly country and gospel, had a profound impact on Roger. He would later cite his uncle Elmer, who was a fiddle player, as a significant influence on his decision to pursue music. As a child, Roger was shy and introspective, often retreating into his own world. He found solace in music, and by the time he was in his early teens, he had taught himself to play several instruments, including the guitar and the fiddle. He also began to experiment with songwriting, crafting simple tunes inspired by the world around him. His first songs were heavily influenced by the country and western swing music he heard on the radio, particularly the work of Hank Williams, Bob Wills, and other country music legends. School, however, was not where Roger excelled. He often felt out of place and struggled academically, preferring to spend his time daydreaming about becoming a musician. At the age of 14, he ran away from home, hitchhiking to Amarillo, Texas, with dreams of joining a band. Although his initial attempts to break into the music industry were unsuccessful, the experience solidified his desire to pursue a career in music. Roger eventually returned home and continued to work on his music while attending high school. However, his restless spirit and the pull of the open road would soon lead him to make another bold decision. Military service and early career. In 1952, at the age of 17, Roger Miller enlisted in the U.S. Army, seeking adventure and an escape from the confines of small-town life. The Korean War was ongoing, and Roger was sent to South Korea, where he served in the military police. While his duties were far removed from his musical aspirations, Roger found ways to incorporate his love of music into his military service. He often entertained his fellow soldiers with impromptu performances, playing his guitar and singing songs he had written. Roger's time in the military was transformative. It exposed him to new experiences and broadened his horizons. However, it also reinforced his desire to pursue a career in music. After his discharge in 1954, Roger moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the epicenter of country music, determined to make a name for himself. Nashville in the 1950s was a city teeming with musical talent. The Grand Ole Opry was at the height of its popularity, and countless aspiring musicians flocked to the city in hopes of landing a record deal or a spot on the Opry stage. Roger was no exception. He arrived in Nashville with little more than his guitar and a suitcase full of dreams. Roger's early years in Nashville were marked by struggle and perseverance. He took on various jobs to support himself, including working as a bellhop at the Andrew Jackson Hotel. In his spare time, he frequented the honky-tonks and bars that lined Nashville's streets, hoping to catch the attention of a record producer or songwriter. His break came when he met songwriter and music publisher Hank Cochran, who recognized Roger's talent and helped him get his foot in the door as a songwriter. Roger's first major success as a songwriter came in 1957, when Ray Price recorded his song, "Invitation to the Blues." The song became a hit, and Roger's reputation as a talented songwriter began to grow. Over the next few years, he wrote songs for several country music stars, including George Jones, Jim Reeves, and Ernest Tubb. His songwriting was characterized by its clever wordplay, humor, and the ability to tell a compelling story in just a few verses. Despite his success as a songwriter, Roger longed to be recognized as a performer in his own right. He recorded several singles in the late 1950s and early 1960s, but none achieved significant commercial success. Frustrated by his lack of progress as a recording artist, Roger briefly left Nashville and moved to Hollywood, California, where he attempted to break into the pop music scene. However, his time in Hollywood was short-lived, and he soon returned to Nashville, recommitted to pursuing a career in country music. Breakthrough and rise to fame. Roger Miller's big break came in 1964 when he signed a recording contract with Smash Records, a subsidiary of Mercury Records. At the time, country music was undergoing a transformation, with artists like Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline, and Marty Robbins expanding the genre's boundaries and appealing to a broader audience. Roger's unique style, which blended country, pop, and honky-tonk influences, was a perfect fit for this new era of country music. In 1964, Roger released "Dang Me," a song that would change the course of his career. "Dang Me" was unlike anything else on the radio at the time. The song featured a catchy, upbeat melody, playful lyrics, and Roger's distinctive vocal delivery. It was a humorous take on the life of a ne'er-do-well, with lines like, "They ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me?" The song's infectious rhythm and witty lyrics struck a chord with listeners, and it quickly became a hit, reaching #1 on the country charts and crossing over to the pop charts. "Dang Me" was more than just a commercial success. It was a cultural phenomenon. The song earned Roger his first Grammy Award for Best Country and Western Recording, and it established him as one of the most innovative and original voices in country music. The success of "Dang Me" was followed by another hit, "Chug-a-Lug," which also featured Roger's trademark humor and catchy melodies. The song, a lighthearted ode to youthful mischief and moonshine, became another chart-topping hit, and solidified Roger's reputation as a master of the novelty song. But it was Roger Miller's 1965 release, "King of the Road," that would become his signature song, and one of the most enduring hits in country music history. "King of the Road" was a departure from the humorous tone of Roger's earlier hits. The song was a poignant and evocative portrait of a drifter living a life of freedom and simplicity on the open road. With its iconic opening lines, "Trailer for sale or rent, rooms to let, 50 cents. "King of the Road" painted a vivid picture of a life lived outside the bounds of conventional society. The song's sparse, acoustic arrangement and Roger's understated vocal delivery perfectly captured the mood of the lyrics. "King of the Road" resonated with listeners around the world, becoming a massive international hit. It topped the charts in multiple countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom, and earned Roger 4 Grammy Awards. including Song of the Year and Best Country and Western Song. The success of King of the Road marked the peak of Roger Miller's career. He became a household name, known not only for his music, but also for his charming and charismatic personality. His songs were characterized by their clever wordplay, humor, and catchy melodies, and they resonated with audiences of all ages. Roger's unique style blended country, pop, and folk influences, and his music appealed to a broad audience, transcending genre boundaries. Career highlights and achievements. Following the success of King of the Road, Roger Miller continued to release a string of hits that would become some of his most beloved songs. In 1965, he released Engine Engine No. 9, a song that once again showcased his knack for crafting catchy melodies and memorable lyrics. The song, which tells the story of a man waiting for a train that may or may not bring his lover back to him, was another chart-topping hit for Roger. Other notable hits from this period include Kansas City Star, a humorous take on the life of a local television personality, and England Swings, a playful nod to the British invasion and the cultural changes sweeping the world in the 1960s. These songs, along with Dang Me and King of the Road, helped define Roger Miller's legacy as one of the most innovative and influential artists of his time. Roger's success was not limited to the country music charts. His crossover appeal allowed him to achieve significant success on the pop charts as well, making him one of the few country artists of his era to reach a broad and diverse audience. His songs were played on both country and pop radio stations, and he became a regular guest on television programs, including The Merv Griffin Show, The Ed Sullivan Show, and The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. In 1966, Roger Miller made his acting debut in the film Waterhole No. 3, a Western comedy starring James Coburn and Carol O'Connor. Roger played a supporting role in the film, but his involvement in the project extended beyond acting. He also contributed to the film's soundtrack, writing and performing several songs, including the title track. Waterhole No. 3 was a modest success at the box office, and it marked the beginning of Roger's foray into acting and film music. In addition to his work in film and television, Roger Miller continued to write and record music throughout the 1960s and 1970s. He released several albums during this period, including The Return of Roger Miller, Words and Music, and A Tender Look at Love. These albums featured a mix of original songs and covers of classic country and pop tunes, showcasing Roger's versatility as a performer. One of Roger's most notable projects from this period was his work on the soundtrack for the 1973 Disney animated film Robin Hood. Roger was invited to contribute to the film by Disney producer Wolfgang Reitherman, who was a fan of Roger's music. In addition to providing the voice for the character Alan Adale, the rooster narrator, Roger wrote and performed several songs for the film, including the iconic Oodalali and Not in Nottingham. These songs, with their catchy melodies and folksy charm, became instant classics and remain beloved by Disney fans to this day. Despite his success, the late 1960s and early 1970s were also a period of personal and professional challenges for Roger Miller. The pressures of fame, combined with the demands of constant touring and recording, began to take a toll on his health and well-being. Roger struggled with substance abuse, including alcohol and drugs, and his personal life became increasingly tumultuous. Personal life and struggles. Roger Miller's personal life was a complex tapestry woven with both triumphs and tribulations. He was married 3 times and had 7 children, navigating the challenges of personal relationships while simultaneously building a legendary music career. His first marriage was to Barbara Crow, a union that was short-lived and ended in divorce in 1957 after just a few years. Though brief, this marriage marked the beginning of Roger's tumultuous journey through relationships. In 1958, Roger entered into his second marriage, this time with Leah Kendrick. Their marriage, which lasted over a decade, was more enduring but not without its own set of challenges. The couple had 4 children together: Dean, Shannon, Ronnie, and Larry. And while their family life appeared stable on the surface, Roger's burgeoning music career and personal struggles were beginning to take a toll. As Roger's fame grew in the 1960s, so did the pressures associated with being a public figure. The demands of his career, coupled with his battles with substance abuse, created a growing strain on the marriage. By 1971, these pressures proved too much, and Roger and Leah divorced. Roger's third and final marriage was to Mary Arnold, a former member of the musical group Kenny Rogers and the First Edition. The couple married in 1977, and this marriage became a source of stability and comfort for Roger in a way his previous relationships had not. Mary was a supportive partner, providing Roger with a sense of peace and security that he had long sought. Their relationship endured until Roger's death, marking a period of relative calm and personal fulfillment in his later years. Throughout his life, Roger Miller grappled with addiction, a battle that was both public and deeply personal. His struggles with alcoholism were well documented, and he did not shy away from discussing his issues in interviews and public appearances. At the height of his fame in the 1960s, Roger's drinking and drug use began to spiral out of control, leading to increasingly erratic behavior. This not only strained his personal relationships, but also threatened to derail his career. Friends, family, and colleagues witnessed the toll that addiction was taking on Roger, yet his talent and dedication to music never wavered. Despite the challenges posed by his addictions, Roger continued to create innovative and influential music. His wit and creativity shone through in his work, even as he battled his inner demons. The 1970s marked a turning point in Roger's life. He sought treatment for his addictions and made a concerted effort to regain control of his life. Sobriety allowed him to focus more intently on both his career and personal life, leading to a period of renewed creativity and stability. Roger became an advocate for sobriety within the music industry, often speaking candidly about his experiences in an effort to help others facing similar challenges. The 1980s brought a new chapter of success for Roger, one that came from an unexpected arena: Broadway. His work on the musical Big River, an adaptation of Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, became one of the crowning achievements of his career. The musical, for which Roger wrote the score, was a critical and commercial success, earning him a Tony Award for Best Score. This accomplishment was particularly meaningful for Roger, as it represented a triumph not just in his career, but also in his personal journey towards stability and fulfillment. Roger Miller's life was a testament to the power of resilience and the enduring impact of creativity. Despite the personal struggles he faced, including his battles with addiction and the challenges of maintaining relationships in the spotlight, Roger's legacy as a pioneering and influential figure in music remains intact. His ability to channel his experiences into his art, coupled with his relentless pursuit of sobriety and stability in his later years, has left an indelible mark on the music industry and on the lives of those who knew him personally. Through his music and his story, Roger Miller continues to inspire, reminding us all of the complexities of the human experience and the enduring power of redemption. Broadway success: Big River. By the early 1980s, Roger Miller's career had slowed down, and he was largely out of the spotlight. However, his creativity had not waned, and he was eager to explore new artistic challenges. In 1983, Roger was approached by playwright and director Randall Myler and producer Doug Howard with an intriguing proposition. They wanted him to write the score for a Broadway musical adaptation of Mark Twain's classic novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. At first, Roger was hesitant. He had never written for the stage before, and the idea of composing a full musical score was daunting. However, after reading the script and revisiting Twain's novel, Roger was inspired by the story's themes of friendship, freedom, and the search for identity. He agreed to take on the project, and what followed was one of the most creatively fulfilling experiences of his career. Big River, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, premiered on Broadway in 1985, and it was an immediate success. The musical featured a rich and varied score that blended country, bluegrass, and gospel influences, reflecting Rogers' deep roots in American music. The songs ranged from lively, toe-tapping numbers like Muddy Water and Government to poignant ballads like River in the Rain and Leavin's Not the Only Way to Go. Rogers' music perfectly captured the spirit of Twain's novel, and his lyrics conveyed the characters' emotions with depth and authenticity. Big River was a critical and commercial triumph, earning 7 Tony Awards, including Best Musical and Best Original Score for Roger Miller. The show's success introduced Roger to a new audience and earned him widespread acclaim as a composer and lyricist. For Roger, Big River was not just a professional milestone, it was a deeply personal achievement. He had proven to himself and to the world that his talents extended beyond the realm of country music, and he had created a work that would stand the test of time. The success of Big River also had a lasting impact on Broadway. It was one of the first musicals to incorporate country and bluegrass music into its score, paving the way for future productions that would explore the intersection of musical theater and American roots music. Rogers' work on Big River remains a testament to his versatility as an artist and his ability to create music that resonates with audiences across genres. Later years and legacy. After the success of Big River, Roger Miller continued to perform and record music, although he largely stepped out of the spotlight. He focused on his family and enjoyed the quieter life that came with being out of the public eye. However, his influence on the music industry remained strong, and his songs continued to be celebrated by fans and fellow musicians alike. Tragically, in 1992, Roger Miller was diagnosed with lung and throat cancer, likely the result of his years of heavy smoking. Despite his illness, he continued to work on music and even performed a final concert in Branson, Missouri, shortly before his death. Roger Miller passed away on October 25, 1992, at the age of 56. Roger Miller's legacy continues to live on through his music. His songs have been covered by countless artists, and his influence can be heard in the work of musicians across genres. He was posthumously inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1995, and his contributions to music are still celebrated today. Roger Miller's ability to blend humor, wit, and heartfelt emotion in his songwriting set him apart from his peers. His songs, with their catchy melodies and clever lyrics, have become timeless classics that resonate with audiences of all ages. From King of the Road to Dang Me to Big River, Roger Miller's work remains an integral part of American music history. In addition to his musical achievements, Roger Miller's life story is a testament to the power of perseverance and creativity. Despite facing numerous challenges and setbacks, he was able to achieve greatness through his talent and determination. His work continues to inspire and entertain, and his legacy as one of the greatest songwriters and performers of his time is secure.